I want to talk about what is the awakening. People talk about the awakening. The awakening is something incredible. It's a possibility that can occur in anyone's life. Normally, there are three states that we're in. We're either in deep, dreamless sleep, or we're dreaming, or we're awake. Now, most people don't think of the waking state as having degrees. So you're either awake, or you're dreaming, or you're asleep. But there is the possibility of looking at it that you can be awake and kind of dreaming you're awake. In other words, not fully awake. There are degrees of wakefulness. What do you experience when you are fully awake that's different from what is normally felt when you're a little bit awake? Most people, when they're awake, they know they're awake because they can hear themselves think and they see stuff unfold in front of them. When you're fully awake, you feel presence. You know you're awake. You know there's presence. You can feel it. You can feel that energy. So the awakening is when you come into the fourth state, which presents itself initially as the feeling of presence. Presence is when your normal sense of physicality, of solidity of your body starts to subtly shift, and you realize that actually what you're made of is energy vibrating at different frequencies. So in meditation, many people come into that realization that actually there is only energy. And in that place where there's only energy, there is also peace. When you wake up to a peaceful world. When you wake up to a joyful world. When you wake up to a grateful world. When you wake up, you feel whole and complete. And this then creates an ongoing natural process whereby what it was that one used to identify with, the ego, the persona, the part I played in the movie of my life, that starts to shift. And then quietness comes. Above your shoulders, there isn't a sense of a character in there. It goes spacious. And it's almost as if the sky reaches down to your shoulders. And as you continue in your attention to presence, so that you can become presence, identifying as presence, then the psychological self that you were identified as, the broken one, the wounded one, the unintegrated one, the damaged one, you realize that that was just a version of yourself that your mind gave you. And your mind didn't realize that beyond all that, prior to the persona, prior to the psychological self, is something absolutely wonderful, pure presence. Now, when we arrive as pure presence, we still have the sense that we are an individual entity. Quietened down, simplified, just pure presence emanating. A point of reference and a hub from which the universe is perceived. But then going even more deeply into that, there comes a point where even that hub is seen to be a play of consciousness, and that dissolves. And then all there is a mass of self-cognizing presence, pure awareness. So the goal is to walk through the door to have the awakening. To see that there's something prior to the personality. To see that there's something before the psychological self. You still were before you started to think and develop a sense of who you were as an ego. You were there. You've always been there. You as pure presence do not evolve. It never changes. Each time you return to pure presence, to that awakened state, it's exactly the same. Spacious, clear, peaceful, loving. How life actually is when we stop projecting upon it. Who we actually are when we stop inventing notions of who we are. Sometimes people are so frightened to look at who they actually are in case they see something dreadful that they never actually put down who they're pretending to be. They identify as the part they're playing. Oh, I'm a father, I'm a doctor, I'm a man. But actually this is like clothing. What's under that clothing? Who are you really? Can you stand naked in this beautiful moment? And so that's the awakening. The awakening is when you're fully alive. No part is sleeping. And then this presence, this moment, any moment, regardless of what the circumstances of that moment are, any moment has this luminous quality to it. The heart of any moment, regardless of the circumstances, is deep, deep peace. The heart of any moment is this beautiful, awakened awareness. To start with, you look at it. As you evolve in that looking, you realize I am that which I've been looking at. And there is the beautiful awakening. And it's endless. It has no limit. Even though it's always the same each time you return to it, it's always fresh. And we can depend on that. We don't have to plan everything out. We don't have to think everything through. We can rely on our awakeness. We can rely on that pure presence. We can rely on life. And this is the path of wonder and joy, where there's enough clarity and enough space mentally to be able to see the very heaven that is this earth, and also to see the incredible opportunity that we have by virtue of the fact we're alive. There is a mass awakening happening. And everybody, no matter what they do or have done, can be part of it, simply because they're alive.